For the purposes of this trick tip, a Casper flip is when you catch the board upside down and use your back foot to tap the tail around, just like a Casper shove it out. And a hospital flip is when you start like a Casper flip, but your back foot's just floating over here and your front foot sort of wraps it around. Before I start, I'd like to say that this trick is all about being coordinated. I can tell you exactly how to do it, but it's still going to feel weird to do two separate motions in the air. So it's still going to take a lot of effort on your part. Okay, the first trick I'm going to talk about is the Casper flip. That's the one I do normally. I'm better at it. Regular, I do my hospital flip switch. But okay, so Casper flips, I'm going to start with your feet about like this. You only need to do about a half a kickflip, so you don't need to worry about having an exaggerated foot position or anything. And you need to keep it close to the board. So whatever that means for you, for me, it means having it about right here. Back foot, starting position doesn't really matter that much since it's all in the air. Now when you start the trick, it starts just like a kickflip, except when you flick, don't follow through with your whole foot. Just sort of use your ankle and leave your foot right there. Then when the board comes around, you want to keep it right here, like right around where the nose starts. Just keep your foot floating right there. And a good rule of thumb is to wait until you can see the graphic coming around. And then once that happens, you want to bring this foot around and sort of tap the tail, and that'll bring it around. Of course, it'll help if you can do half flip Casper or shove it outs already, but it's not completely important since you don't actually need to land on the tail, you just sort of hit it on the way. There are a lot of things that can go wrong. The first is it's hard to wait. Like you start the flip and you get about right here and you want to kick it already. That's really hard. It's a big issue when you're starting to learn them. But you need to force yourself to just do a kickflip in the beginning. Don't start the board flipping and try to catch it out here or anything. Just flip, nothing but a kickflip, and then wait and tap it around. I can say that all I want, but it still takes a lot of effort to get used to doing two distinct separate motions. The second thing is when one foot lands on the ground, and that's really easy to do with this trick, because once the board starts to wrap, this foot's just floating off over here, and it's easy to sort of just land like that. Have the board stick to this foot and sort of fly away. You just have to commit. Stay over the board. Force yourself to stay right with it. It helps to, when you catch it, sort of scissor your feet like this, so that when the board's wrapping around your front foot, it still stays right underneath you. The second or third thing is landing upside down. And this happens for a couple of reasons. The first is if you flip a little too much, you might tap the edge of the tail and you don't really get a flip, it just spins. Or the way that happens to me most often is with this foot, I only catch like the tip. So when I start to shove it, the board just sort of pushes my foot out of the way and stays upside down. So what you want to do is get as much of your foot as possible underneath the board. So when you catch it with this foot, it goes end over end like a Casper shove it. So watch the clips I have for you and practice them and you'll get it. The second way to do this trick is called a hospital flip, and it's when you use only your front foot to bring it around. And I'll be explaining this goofy because I can only do them switch. I figure that's because I'm right-handed, so the way that uses my right foot more is just more natural feeling. Anyway, the foot position is pretty much the same as a Casper flip, except I find it helps if I put my foot a little more towards the heel side. That might just be because it's switch, but try it anyway. It starts off the same. Start to flip but keep your foot really close, except there's no back foot at all. You want to sort of tip the nose over, try to go as vertical as possible. You're not going to, most likely, but it'll help it have a more distinct motion. The main thing that happens with this trick is that you start the board spinning right in the beginning. And what happens is you start to get sort of a shove it that tips over and tips back. And it still counts and everything, it just doesn't look that good. Which is why I prefer Casper flips, because you have to use your foot and you have two separate motions. But with this trick, you just have to try to wait until you see the graphic, then bring it over as much as possible. And like I said, with Casper flips, there's a lot of coordination involved. With this trick, it's not so bad, but it still takes a lot of effort on your part. You know, getting out there, getting used to the feel of the board, sort of going out in front of you, then bringing it back over. And watch the ones I film for you, and good luck.